Let me begin by saying this to you. Tajo valuto beneante, me valuto beneame. You'll hear more of this song later. You might hear it. I'd like to welcome you to Event 17 of the Shore Village Association. Before I introduce today's speakers, let me say that there will be a couple of more events this spring, and a few copies of the event schedule are on the table out front there. Coming up on February 20th, we have a screening of a film called Tower to the People. You might have seen it last summer at the high school if you went over there. We'll see it again, and the director, Joe Sikorsky, will be here with his very fine equipment, so it'll be a beautiful film. He'll say, and after the film, he'll lead a discussion about, it's about the Tesla Science Center and about Tesla. On March 19th at 7 p.m., the film is 5 p.m. At March 19th at 7 p.m., we'll do a staged reading of Mornings at 7. And there are 9 people in the cast, you know all of us, I believe. I have a part, as it happens. And Diana has a part, and it's pretty nice. Let's see, Bob Sweet has a part. Anyway, it's going to be a nice play, and I hope you will come. Oh, by the way, if you forgot this, most of us forget things. In October, we had our general meeting of the association, and you had an opportunity to sign up again, your membership, renew your membership. We decided to ask you to renew every year, if you wouldn't mind, but we've stopped charging dues. You can just join the association if you like. Of course, if you're inclined to donate a few dollars, we're glad to have it. It helps us. Anyway, if you forgot to sign up before, there are forms over there. You can renew it today. And our treasurer happens to be here. That's me over there. Let's see. We're a good outfit, and you know most of us because we're your neighbors. We'd like it if you would all join the association. Today, we will hear a presentation. You might as well be seated. This will take about 30 minutes. You will hear a presentation.
Okay, I finished my coffee.
Finish your coffee. You will hear a presentation by a beloved Shore resident, Alfredo Lucio. And I want to tell you a little about him. Alfredo Ugo Lucio was born in Bari, Italy in 1936. Today, he is 80 years and 26 days old. His wife, Mimi, who we also know and love, was also born in January, on the 28th, but is younger.
She's younger, much younger, yes.
I would never mention her days. I would say she is 29 years and 2 days old today. Alfredo's mother, Laura, held a doctorate in physics, as does Alfredo. His father, Giulio, was an engineer and a brigadier general in the Italian Air Force. Alfredo was the oldest of 4 brothers. What's the matter?
You're going to get feedback.
Oh, but you wouldn't mind being a little further away from me? You might. It's causing a problem.
Okay, thank you.
My heart is breaking now, but it's necessary. Alfredo's family moved from Roma to Milano when his father was appointed chief engineer for the construction of the Milano subway system. His mother taught mathematics and physics in high school. Alfredo completed school there and earned a doctorate in physics at the University of Milano. Let's see here. Let's see, maybe this will work. This points to little red lights. This is Alfredo at a younger age. Let's see here. What was it? Oh, yes. So he got his doctorate in physics at the University of Milano. At the university, he had the good fortune to meet Maristella, called Mimi. She's here, I believe, somewhere. And they married on January 8th, 1961. So a lot of things happened in January. They were both born in one January or another, and they were married in January. So January is officially Lucio month in short. Alfredo served in the Italian Air Force and became first lieutenant. He worked at the University of Milano and then the University of California at Berkeley. He reports that Berkeley in the late 60s was a great place to be, with hippies, Joan Baez, and People's Park. They spent 3 years there, then moved to München, Germany. That's Munich, if you speak English, where he joined the Max Planck Institute. It was a beautiful city. The Luchos were happy there, learning to speak Bavarian German and singing beer songs. I remember that I spent a little time in Germany. It's a lot of fun. After 3 years in München, they felt the call of their homeland and moved to the University of Pisa. That's where Galileo dropped things off a tower, a famous Italian city. After the wanderlust was always with them, it says here. And Alfredo and Mimi finally came to Brookhaven Laboratory, where they decided to stay for good. They became United States citizens, and finally citizens of the world. I do have to walk back over there, don't I? Yeah. They're happy here, and this is now their true space. Alfredo and Mimi have 2 sons, Mateo, a science journalist in Portland, Oregon, and Valerio, computer science. Computer science is at NYU, not far from here. When their younger son Valerio was 15, his sister Camilla arrived. I was 15 when my sister Carmen arrived, so I remember that. She now teaches at the American School in Milano, and her 2 little daughters enjoy visiting Rappy and Grammy in Shoreham every July. Here you have a picture of the 2 when they married, Valentine they married, or met a long time ago, 56 of years.
That's when we met.
That's when you met. So that's the first picture you have together. Handsome as always. I don't know where the other pictures are. You've probably gone past them.
Oh, there they are.
They're the 4 brothers. It's Alfredo over here. And one of these is the smartest brother. I forget which one. I had that on the word of Alfredo.
We considered the smartest to be the 3rd from the right. The only one was not a university professor.
Well, he's an engineer, I believe, so he must be reasonably smart. I think we've said enough, perhaps, about our star. And now it's my pleasure to present a lesson in Neapolitan Italian language through songs, Alfredo Lucio. So what can you push this button?
So first of all, thank you, Neil, for your very nice words. And also, great thanks also to Nancy, because she helped a lot to prepare this for everything. I mean, for the slides, for the presentation of the songs, and the preparing of the text that was distributed. I put this, I will present a few songs, not too many, there is not time to present many, but anyway, I present a few, and you have sheets where you have the songs in Italian, I mean in Neapolitan, in Italian, and English. So first of all, let me say a couple of things about Naples and why I choose Neapolitan songs. Naples is a very ancient city. Actually, in the word, the name of the city is Napoli in Italian, and comes from Neapolis. Neapolis means new city. Polis is a Greek root for to mean many. In fact, there is a polygon, which is something that has many angles and things like that. Poly means many. And poly means also many people in reality. So a city in the ancient times sometimes was called polis. And of course this polis is a root of a lot of modern words, like politics even, and which is connected to the fact that many people, many things contribute to that. So Neapolis means that. We say Napoli in Italian. This is supposed to be a lesson in Italian and through Neapolitan, and Naples in English. Naples is a big city in southern Italy and is, in a sense, considered the capital of southern Italy just because it's one of perhaps the biggest city in southern Italy. Has a very important story, also very varied, because Napoli was dominated by very different kings and rulers coming from many parts. Actually, at the beginning of the 1800s, just not to go to very ancient times, I mean, in the ancient time, Napoli was important for Rome. In fact, the rich Romans were going to Naples, that was a very beautiful place, it's still a beautiful place, and they built a lot of villas in those little cities, Herculanus and Pompeii, next to Naples, that were destroyed by the earthquake and the eruption of the volcano. But so it was really a place where rich people from Rome used to go. And then Naples developed a big port. However, like many big cities, especially cities were ruled by different rulers in the centuries, people were mostly poor. And being poor, the only real source of entertainment in Naples was songs, because it was cheap. Everybody can sing. And so Napolitan songs became a very special kind of song, because it became the center of city life for centuries. In Naples there was a festival that is still on. Every year, after many centuries really, every year there is festival, the so-called Piedigrotta festival. Piedigrotta is a quarter of Naples, where there is competition among songs, and who is writing the best songs becomes the hero or a heroine of the city for 1 year. And the festival is still now going on. Certainly it's not the best years now, but anyway, probably the best years, at least for my taste, were the beginning of last century. And in fact, the songs I will present are from that time. There were songs which are much older. I also have a collection that I brought here of records of the history of Napolitan songs. Those records that I brought in have about 250 songs or something like that, starting from 1300 to today. Okay, another story about the Napolitan songs is the following. They are very special for that reason, historical reason, but also because they attracted the attention of a lot of poets and musicians. Naples had also a big tradition in music, also very cultivated music. The Conservatoire of Naples was there for centuries and produced the classicists like the Scarlattis. Scarlattis, some of the music, piano music that plays still today is the Scarlattis, and so other ones. Donizetti was also active in, he was an opera writer, but he was very active in Naples. So there is this big story. After, the fact of the songs are very much related to the dialect, the Napolitan dialect. Napolitan dialect, I choose also Napolitan dialect because it's not so far from the classic Italian. There are some words, some expression, the pronunciation and so on, but really, in fact, when I say a lesson in Italian through Napolitan songs, is because Napolitan, yes, it's not the classical Italian, but it's not too far after all. But this also gave a difficulty to me when I wanted to translate the songs, the text of the songs that you have in front of you in Italian and in English. Not only in English, but even in Italian. Because even if the language is similar, songs are really not prose, they are poetry. A poetry cannot be translated in a simple way, because poetry has to be translated by a poet. In fact, many of the famous poetry in every language has been translated in other languages by a poet normally. You have in some poetic expression that's very hard to translate directly, and they lose some of their meaning. This, in fact, is also a question about the dialects. Dialects in Italy are very old. Italy was the center, and is still, of course, geographically the center of the Mediterranean. But the time when Rome, the Roman Empire, extended to all the Mediterranean and also part of Europe, actually up to England, but many people came to Rome. Rome was a political power, so it was really what was the USA in this country, in this century, the last century. There were a lot of people who emigrated from other countries. In Rome, all the mathematicians, the scientists were Arab or Greek. And so everybody brought their language in. So they created in Italy a lot of dialects. This is also explained the fact that everybody knows here, that Italians, among the various ethnic groups who came to the United States, lost Italian, the language, very easily. Because normally, the idea was that since the family normally were family that had to earn the life through very hard work, but they were talking in the dialect of the regions. And the dialects are very different because they came from everywhere. And these dialects, the parents didn't want to teach them that to children. I heard for many Italians here who say we don't know Italian, even if they are Italian origin, because our parents or grandparents didn't want to teach a dialect, because they thought that dialect, in a sense, was a low-class language. It is true, but it's also a popular thing, it's part of history. In reality, dialects have a lot of expression and things that the language doesn't have, the classical language. Italians in this country learn the Italian, Italian in Italy learn Italian from television in the 50s. In fact, because the television was not in dialect, was in Italian. So at the end, for instance, today, what happens in Italy that many families speak dialects in the family, speaks Italian with the other Italians, and perhaps to talk other languages, because there was this kind of thing. And in fact, I also heard from many Americans of Italian ascent that they would like to know some more Italians because they did not learn it from their parents. And in fact, one of these lessons of Italian through the language is also has that meaning. And I say the dialect I choose Napolitan for two reasons. One, because Naples had incredibly beautiful songs for centuries, much more than many other regions. And besides, also because the Italian, the Napolitan is not so different after all. But as I said, there are problems sometimes in translation, and I discuss with a lot of people about how to translate some expressions that in the dialect were very beautiful, translated into Italian lost, and in English lost some of their flavor. Anyway, so I will present some of that. Now about my life. Neil was really nice to say a few things. And anyway, I would say there is also another part that I consider very important. Learning songs, in my opinion, is very important to learn a language. Personally, for instance, I learned French long ago because I like some French songs, and now I'm learning them in French. And learning a song, especially if you like to sing, really it's very important to learn languages. And so I did also with German songs, and our son who lives in New York, his wife is Brazilian, so she speaks Brazilian Portuguese, so I learned some Brazilian songs, and that way I really, even if Brazilian Portuguese is not that far from Italian, but anyway, I learned it through the language. So this is another thing why songs are really a vehicle to learn languages, and in this case, to learn Italian. Okay, now about me, a little bit more about, to add what Neil said. So the family of my father was Neapolitan. My mother was Roman. And I never really lived in Naples, even if visited Naples a lot of times, and I know the language, and I know they said the dialect, I know the people. So I did not really live continuously in Naples. And the family, our family, was moved to Naples. Actually, there was a first Lucio at the beginning of 1800 who came to Naples from apparently northern Italy, from the lake region. Lucio in Italian is the name of a fish, pike. So in a sense, pike is a fish that lives in lakes with a long nose and a lot of little teeth. And this Lucio came to Naples, and he started the family there. And it's also interesting that at that time, Naples was really ruled by the French. In fact, the king of Naples was the son of Napoleon. Napoleon was also Italian from Corsica. Corsica was still Italian at the time, and now it's French. But Napoleon was born in Corsica, went to France, became an emperor, the most powerful person in Europe. Napoleon died in 1821. And he made his son the king of Naples. So it was a time when somebody was making somebody king of another country. So Naples was under the French domination for a while. This was Murat was the name of the son of Napoleon. And Naples, Neapolitan, even Neapolitan songs still have sometimes some flavor of French, because French was considered the chic, language. Everything was beautiful and refined, was by definition French. In Naples, still today, sometimes some of bread stores are called boulangerie, the French name. And after there is a word that comes in one of the songs I will present, which is chantosa. Chantosa is Napolitan say chanteuse. Chanteuse in French means a singer. But it was with the idea that a singer like a beautiful, elegant person, kind of a model, something like that. So when you saw a lady that was assuming to be elegant and well refined, was considered a chanteuse. Means even sometimes the word was not necessarily nice. So because at times, especially in old time, people were more Puritan than they are today, and so chanteuse you would not call some really classy person a chanteuse, but there was that word. And the song I present has that word. So French was also part of the culture of Naples at the time of Murat. Still now there are some expression there. So Napolitan is interesting language also because of this influence, not only of old civilization, but also from relatively modern civilizations, and France was, as a matter of fact, Napoleon was Italian from Corsica. Corsica was Italian at the time, and after for those things that were done centuries ago, Corsica was donated to France because France added the kings of in northern Italy, in Turin, in a war. So, you donate an island with everybody who stays there. That's a very interesting thing. So, but Napoleon was Italian, went to France. He has an old mother that lived back in Corsica. He tried to bring his mother to Paris, but she did not like to be at the court of the Emperor of France, so he went back to Corsica. Anyway, now let's go back to the songs. Another interesting thing of the songs is how the songs are sung and how they are known around. In this country, some of the Napolitan songs came through Caruso many years ago. And then in recent times, we saw some of these big operatic tenors, like Pavarotti and Bocelli and so on, singing in Napolitan song. I hate that, because I think they spoil completely the songs. They are very good voices, but they are operatic voices. And the Napolitan songs instead are very gentle, very melodious. They cannot be sung that way. And in fact, that's my taste, but anyway. So I will, the singer that I will present tonight is this Roberto Murolo. Murolo also belonged to a family of musicians in Naples. So they had roots in music. And he was singing this song with his guitar, and this is what in a very appropriate way, in my opinion. So this is also about the songs themselves. Another thing that has to be said about Napolitan songs, a difference of, I would say, of many songs today. Normally, Napolitan songs want to tell a story or present some situations. So it's like a canvas, a painting. I mean, it's something you have first something about the sea, because the sea is very important in Naples, the life of a city on the sea in the Gulf, like Naples. The sea, they speak of loves, they speak of sentiments, but I would say are stories in a sense. And this is also make them a little bit unique. So now I will perform. I mean, I have with me here 250 songs of the history of Napolitan songs, but I'll present probably 4 of them or something like that, because that would be impossible. And I chose a time of the songs which were the very end of the 1800s and the beginning of the 90s. So I would say the song between 1880 and 1930, just before the Second World War, but through the First World War. I have also to say something about this very quickly. Italy was in the middle of 2 big wars, the First World War and the Second World War, like all of Europe, by the way, but Italy also saw the 2 wars in a very, very different way. Because the First World War was a war that Italy fought to the idea of unifying. Italy was a divided country for centuries. It was ruled by many rulers after the Roman Empire collapsed. So it was a way to reunify the country. And so it was a patriotic war. People then had a certain attitude toward the war that was very different, the Second World War. The Second World War was a Mussolini and Hitler war. It was considered really, by the way, it was a crazy war for Italy. Went to that war in complete disarray. And so I know very well that too also directly because my father was an officer in the Engineer Corps of the Air Force. All the war. So all the story was telling me about how badly equipped the Italians were in the Second World War. So First World War and Second World War were very different there. So this, what I present is a time which was just before the First World War and the Second, but doesn't go to the Second World War. Because the Second World War ended up with after Europe being actually freed by Hitler and Mussolini, by the Allies, the British and the Americans who came over. So everything was different after. First World War was not. It was really a real popular war inside Europe for Italy. All the wars have all different colors for different countries, you know. And that was how Italy was. And I had another in the family, my uncle, brother of my father was, unfortunately, did the First and the Second World War because he was the wrong age to be right, because he was older than my father, was the right age to fight in the First World War and then was again also to fight in the Second World War. My father instead was only in the Second. Anyway, okay, so I would start with some of the songs.
So skip the top.
Oh,
Okay, reach fast, everybody.
there is something. Yeah, well, I would say yes. We are a lover of classical music, and but we like songs also. And the songs are really nice. And well, my father was a Neapolitan family, but in reality, he took a doctorate degree in engineering in the University of Naples, but after he never lived there, but he was born in Florida. I know, I haven't played the guitar, no, I tried to play the piano, but, you know, I played the clarinet in the short band for a while. But, you know, I don't play the guitar in a long
Baby says move it along, so I'm...
Moving along. Now, in fact, it's the time now to go to the songs. Okay, let's go to the songs. I would say, well, I said all this.
Yes.
So let's go. Oh, Reginella. What does Reginella means? Okay, no, just let me describe a little what about this song is. It's a story, like I say. Reginella means this. A king in Italian is re. A queen is regina. A reginella means little regina, so it's a princess. Because in Italian there are many of these diminutive, and I think there is ino or ina means small, e one means big. So reginella or a reginella is something in between. It means a little queen in a prince. So in this case, this queen is considered by this man who sings this song, his girlfriend. The story is the following. He is going to Naples in the city. Probably he was living in, I don't know where, but anyway. And he sees a group of ladies. This is chantose, I told you, very elegant, very sophisticated. They speak French, but one of them, he knows, was his girlfriend. They have been together for a while. My opinion is, the reason is, they were not, because probably he was in the war. The First World War. This song was written in 1919. So just after the First World War was finished. So why they were not together for a while? Probably, in my opinion, the song doesn't say that, but I think it's because he was in the war. So he went to the war, he came back, and she was all different. Before was some country girl that was very poor like I was. She was eating only bread and cherries, because picking the cherries from the trees. But they were very happy together. They lived a very simple life. Then there was the whole thing, they didn't see each other. He comes back, he sees them in the street with these other girls, and he remembered what happened before. And also in the song there is a story of a little bird. They have a little bird with them, but at the end this little bird was singing with the girl. Apparently they were all tired. This time he said, well, now she flown away. Why? You also don't do that. It's open the cage and the bird flies away. It's a very beautiful story. And so, okay, let's go on with the song, Reginella.
T'ho si fatta una vesta scullata, nu cappiello quei nastri e quei rose, stiva in mezzo a 3 o 4 chantose e parlava francese e a così. Fui latriera che t'aggio incontrata, fui latriera a Tolete, gnorsi.
Gnorsi means yes, sir. Why he say yes, sir? Because he was a soldier.
Tu mi hai voluto bene,
You love me.
ma non ci mamma più, mai voto tu, distrattamente pieno.
This is a beautiful. Say we don't love each other, but perhaps in you think of me sometimes, distractedly, absent-mindedly.
Regine, quando stiva conmigo, non mangiava capane e cerase,
Bread and
mi
cherries.
campava mi vase, e che vase, tu cantavi e chiagniva per me. Io cartilla cantava contica, Reginello va bene a sturre.
The bird was singing, Reginella loves this king.
Bene a te, tu mi hai voluto bene a me, ma non ci mamma più, mai voto tu, distrattamente parli. Oi cardilla che aspetta
Now, the
stasera,
cardillo is the bird.
non ho vita, ha già aperta caio.
You see, I opened the cage.
Reginelle fulate e tu vola, vola e canta, non chiagnere ca. Ti ha trovato una padrona sincera, che più degna sentire te cantare.
I love you. You love me.
Ma non ci
We don't love each other anymore.
mai voto tu, distrattamente
Sometimes you think of me. It's good. You can't imagine Pavarotti sing something like that. No way. I know, she's from Naples. So hey, you know this song, of course. Yes, of course. Okay, now I will go to the next one. Marinariello. This is a different story. It's again a story. This is about Marinariello. Is a little sailor, but in reality, the word sailor is not correct exactly, because mare in Italian is the sea. Marinaro in Napoletan and marinaio in Italian means a man of the sea. Not necessarily a sailor. The sailor is something of the... In fact, in the story, he's a fisherman. And the story is the following. He says, I'm a fisherman and I am pulling the net, because the story happens probably very late in the evening or very early in the morning. The song doesn't say that, but the sky is night sky, and there are the stars there. So probably that's early in the morning. But anyway, he's pulling the net. He's throwing the net and trying to pull the net and to find the fish. And he called her, his girlfriend. He wants her to come and help to pull the net, because it's an excuse. When she is next to him, is looking at her arms, her bare arms with this, and he would like very much to embrace her. Remember that this song, I think it was written in 1884, so it was a time when love was a very Puritan kind of story. In fact, they say, we will make love next to the sea. Facimmo amore, the song in Napoleon. But making love today has much different meaning than was at the time. Probably they were giving some little kiss and, you know, and he would just embrace her or something like that. That was it. And also there is also a very beautiful expression there. You say, we are here, and look, there are the stars. The stars are in love with you. So, Marinaiello, and also this is again an expression of in Italian, the diminutive. Marinaro is marinaio in Italian, it's a sailor, but Marinaiello in a little one, in a sense a young one. So he's a boy. I don't know how old, but anyway. Okay, so he starts saying, come, I'm waiting for you to pull the net, and so on. So, okay, let's go on this one. Come fast.
Non mi fa spantacar, capurarezza bene, camarastu ammanar.
Know the rhythm of this song. This is a called barcarola. So means is the like you are on your boat. Help me in
Ariello, te vosem abbracciar, vicino mare, facimmo
amore, you make love, but you make what kind of love?
Ancora, podes passar, sommaranare e tirarezza, ma ballerezza, storga
implying the sea has this rhythm of roaring. Very forward. You are in a boat, you know something.
Oine io
I pulled the
tirarezza
net.
e tu stata a guardare. Li pisce
You look at the fish that jump in the net.
Come stanno a zumbare.
Zumba means jumping.
E
Jump
vedo
at some parts.
pure stelle,
The
tu
stars.
fai innamorare.
Even the stars are in love with you.
Castumaro Ariella, tu fai sospirare.
Vicino mare.
Sommaranare e tirarezza, ma
Era di Maggio?
Yeah.
Okay, this is in a sense a different song because the others are, there is always some sadness. Here instead is a very optimistic song. This song is also important even in Italian literature because the words were written by a famous poet, Salvatore di Giacomo. Actually, I studied Salvatore di Giacomo poems in school because it was considered a classic. But these songs were really emerging between popular art and very, high art. And Salvatore di Giacomo, this is a story of, doesn't say much. It says just somebody who has to go away, and she is in this beautiful garden with the smell of the flowers and everything, but he has to go, and she doesn't know what to do without him. But he says, well, yes, I go. But remember, in May, together with the flowers, I will be back. And he is back. So it's optimistic. Normally they are sad stories, but in that case, this is a good one. And the music is exceptional. Also, who wrote the music was somebody, and these were all winners of this festival. This was written, I don't remember when, but it was at the end of the 1800s, or just because the beginning of the century. Era di Maggio means it was May.
Ready?
Yes. She has always a terrible criticism of me. I stood her for 55 years, but there was the smell of the roses in all the garden.
Era da magia non una canzone cantava matto
We sang a song at two voices.
Chi il tempo passa chi me non ricordo
The more time goes, the more I remember.
Fresca l'aria la canzone dolce diceva core mio lontana vai tu me lasci con dolore
I go away, and you count the hours. I will come back together with the roses. In May I will be here. Also the guitar is phenomenal. So simple.
Tornate come una volta, cantammo insieme la canzone antica. Passa il tempo e l'una savota, ma amore vero non vota via.
See, the time goes away, but love is still the same.
Ma innamorai, si ti ricorda innanzi alla fontana.
We were in front of the fountain
La
we met.
bolla tinta non si secca mai. È ferita d'amore non si sa.
tell you, I'm
Cara
back.
mia tornati io su, torna
Came back May, and also Love come back.
Vada me che la fu, torna m'accettare un amore, vada me che la fu.
Now this the Santa Lucia Lontana. Okay, this is a different. This is a song of immigrants. So the story is that a ship goes out the harbor, full of people going away, and they start singing, and they sing because they go away. They go in the world that they don't know where. They go in a faraway country, for which they don't know anything, what will happen. And they still think of Naples. Say, we were born in Naples, we want to die in Naples. But they don't, they will not come back. And also, they see the moon that is going away. And that is the best time, because the light of the moon, when the moon is about to go, is shed a light on the harbor of Naples. And they remember, they say, but the next moon will be on something else. So this is a song of emigration, which is one of the themes, because it's a theme with love, where Naples, where the gardens, where everything, but also immigration, which was important. In fact, also this a group of songs which came from Genoa. It was completely different, but very beautiful also. Later, because they were more ancient. This is again is the end of the 1800 and the beginning of the 1969. No, this is no. This is when the Rumor was singing. Of course, not when the song was written. And anyway, also Genoa is similar. And Genoa and Naples are very far away. Genoa in the north, Naples in the south, but they share the same things. As a matter of fact, it's interesting that many Neapolitans, the southern in Italy, came to the east of the United States. Some from Genoa went to the west. And also because probably the ships that started from Genoa were going more, and they were started before actually. In fact, in Genoa, in San Francisco, we found a lot of Genoese. Even some shops. We go in, I remember Mimi's from there, from Genoa. When I went in, we heard the voice from the back in Italian, in Genoese dialect, say, where you means come. That was Genoese. That was interesting. There were also many Sicilians in San Francisco, really. In fact, there is a part of the harbor where they're all Sicilian fishermen. So these are the two big cities, port cities in Italy. So they were similar. But anyway, this is Napolitan because it's not Genoese songs here.
You ready?
Lontana means far away. In Italy it's lontano. In Napolitan it's lontano. These are two guitars here. Bastimenti are the big ship. They live.
Cantano a porta su Napolitana.
He died in 2003.
Cantano botteramente o golfo
The Gulf is disappearing.
E a luna mezzo mare un po' che Napoli la fa
The moon shows somewhere in Naples. Sometimes Santa Lucia actually is a part of the old harbor of Naples. It's called Santa Lucia. It's a part of Genoa, of Naples.
Să giro una sana, să va cerca fortuna, ma quando sponda luna,
When the moon
lontana
is
Napoli non
moon.
si può stare. Santa Lucia tu tieni, sulla nu poche mare, ma più lontana stai, più bella pare. E o canta de serene,
The sirens
canta
sing.
s'ancora e rezze, cor non va ricchezza, si è nata a Napoli.
So the heart doesn't want to reach us. But if you're born in Naples, you want to die there.
Quanta malinconia, se giro con la sana, se va a cercare fortuna, ma quando sponda luna, lontana Napoli non si può stare. Quanta malinconia.
So this is the Indians. Let's go for the Tazza Cafe.
Yeah.
This is a completely different now. This is it's a kind of a cabaret song. And this is really, it's one is sung in this case by Murmel and also a woman. Because the story says, Tazza Cafe. Yeah, the two of them, and Murmel was much older apparently, but anyway. The story of Tazza Cafe is the following. Tazza Cafe means cup of coffee. And he says, it starts in a very nice way. Say, you don't know why, when you look at me, you always made a very bad face. But you don't know that the more ugly you try to do, the more beautiful you appear to me. And then you say, you are like a cup of coffee. You are just sour in the top, but you are very sweet in the bottom. And if I take this cup of coffee, I try to stir and stir and stir, and after a while, the sweet part will come to my mouth. This is a very beautiful thing. And this is sung by women because it's something that I do.
Okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Tazza e caffè. Dico, beh,
Tazza e caffè porta fortuna, questa canzone porta fortuna.
perché?
È perché porta fortuna.
Ah, tazza e caffè.
This song bring the luck. But anyway, Nancy took this from YouTube.
Vorrei sapere che si vuole. Agita sempre la faccia.
When you look at me, you make a sour face.
Più brutta per faccia. Più bella l'occhio mio per presentare. E non saccia si venà.
I don't know if you realize this, that you will. Now you have the sugar in, but you because the time goes on and you get cooler now. But now you like a nice coffee. You're becoming more and more like a nice coffee. A cold bitter. You have this. You make a collection of loves. But I will do the same, he says, if you do that. Brigida is her name. Okay, I think I'm finished with the songs. And how long it took?
So what is it? About an hour.
5:20, almost an hour.
Almost an hour. So we got started. We started it. Thank you so much.
Well,
Alfredo.
I'm just not for many because we